Good morning, and welcome to another day of community programming on Access 30 Dayton, your access to the public. Access programs are locally produced by citizens and/or organizations desiring to express themselves in the community interest.
Extremely happy that it's finally happened.
Jeff, I've never asked you that.
I would say Oh Holy Night.
Really?
That's a personal favorite, yes. And look here, it's the Dayton City Commissioners writing in style.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to DATV's 25th anniversary celebration. I'm DATV Executive Director John Rocco, and I'd like to welcome all of you here tonight. Tonight is a night when we usually celebrate the accomplishments of our producers and volunteers, which of course we're going to do, but tonight is a little extra special because it is our silver anniversary. 25 years ago, a few people here in Dayton, led by Roxy Cole, had a dream of what a public access facility could be. And 25 years later, I'm sure Roxy is looking down tonight and delighted with what has happened. From the humble beginnings of Access 30 to an organization now with over 400 community producers and volunteers, and one that in 2002 produced almost 3,000 local programs. That is an accomplishment that everyone in this room could be proud of. "25 years ago, Jimmy Carter was President of the United States. I was a freshman in high school. And hardly any average, everyday American had access to electronic media. 25 years later, we all can see how different a world we now live in. And tonight, I hope we all can celebrate together and prepare ourselves for the next 25 years. And right now, I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for the evening, someone who was involved with the organization at the very beginning, from the Dayton Daily News, Dale Huffman.
John?
Dorothy's dragging me away.
I know, that's all right. I just wanted to say hello to you and thank you very much for the kind introduction. It is such a pleasure for me to be here to celebrate with all of you tonight as we open the scrapbook and look back over the 25 years and celebrate together. There are some of us in this room who have been there almost from that very beginning, and who remember those early days, archaic as they were, as rudimentary as they were, from the broadcast from the White House, all the way to this magnificent occasion and this great year when we can turn on the television station and tune into DATV and see the incredible professional level programs that we enjoy on a regular basis. And once again, congratulations, and give them a nice hand. I don't know who designed it, but what a great set we have tonight on our 25th anniversary. every year, even on the theme shows, it's always exciting to be here to see what they're going to come up with and what they're going to do. I was associated, as I've said many times, in the early days when we were in the old White House. In fact, I go back so far that I can remember when we had a soft drink machine in there that you didn't have to put money into, but you would hit it a couple of times and a bottle of beer would come out. Things have changed a lot since those early days. Roxy used me in the early days before there was much staff as a utilitarian interviewer. And I had the great privilege of getting calls at strange hours, day and night, to run out for her with a photographer and do an interview with somebody that she thought would be an interesting personality to share the story on television. And as I was talking with my friends at the table here tonight, I happen to remember I just share one of the stories about Roxy. She had heard about this guy that had just gotten out of prison. He had been in there for like 32 years, and it was not too long after all the publicity had been raised about conditions in Ohio prisons and how people get out and they get in trouble again because they're not rehabilitated. And she was very socially conscious, and she thought maybe we should tell this guy's story about what it was like in prison. So she called me out to the White House, and I met this guy. He'd been in there for, I think it was 32 years, and he'd been in there for murder and robbery and every heinous crime you can think of in the world this character had been in there for. It didn't bother her at all, but she said, "Dale, come in, I want you to." So I did the interview, and a couple of weeks later, I got a call from a church over in East Dayton, and this lady that was running the social program said, "Mr. Huffman, you've written about," I wrote an article about the guy too, and she said, "You've written about prisons a lot, and you wrote about this guy." She said, "Would you like to come and talk to our church group about what it's like in prison?" I said, "I'd be happy to do that." And I hung up, and then I got to thinking, well, why don't I bring this guy that Roxy introduced me to, because he knows more about what it's like in prison than I do. He was in there all these years. So I called him up, and I said, "Sir, would you like to go with me to this church over in East Dayton?" So he said, "Sure." So we went out there and knocked on the door, and the program chairman came up, and she looked at me, and she looked at the man I was with, and she said, "Gentlemen, I'm so glad you could be here." She said, "Now, which one's the killer and which one's the reporter?" True story. True story. So you can see that I've got some wonderful stories and have had some great adventures. We've been up on the top of the hill, and of course, after we lost Roxy, and things started changing so rapidly in the electronics field and in the cable television world, and specifically in your world, and I got so busy in so many other things, I haven't been nearly as supportive as I would like to be. So I'm just really happy to have an occasion to be here tonight on this silver anniversary to not only remember back all the funny stories, the neat stories, very serious stories. There were times when we would cry together. The stories of the youngsters that started there when they were 15 years old and have made a living doing this so successfully. All the wonderful stories brought into one here as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of DATV. I was only 10 years old 25 years ago when that all started, and that's why I'm wearing glasses. I hate them, but I got to wear them. All right, I'm going to get right to the program tonight. We're going to mix in nostalgia and remembering and celebrating the 25 years, along with our usual good practice of congratulating those that during the past year have done exceptional work for DATV. Tonight, as DATV honors the volunteers and independent producers, we are happy because they've devoted countless hours of hard work to produce over 2,900 television programs for both DATV and the Dayton Spiritual Television. That all happened in 2002. And the strong tradition of public access TV in Dayton is because of these volunteers. God bless them. And they all believe in the First Amendment and the right to communicate. So to get things underway tonight as we start handing out our awards and our honors, let's welcome DATV's volunteer coordinator. Dorothy Beatty works closely with over the 400 volunteers and independent producers organizing workshops and training shows. She always greets visitors with a warm smile and a friendly hello. And in 1983, you may remember that Dorothy was awarded the Philo T. Farnsworth Video Award for her own program, Face for a Day. The video documented her wedding day preparations. We remember that so well. So let's welcome Dorothy to announce the recipient of the award for the volunteer that has contributed the most. And there were many of them, but this one has contributed the most hours to DATV in 2002. Ladies and gentlemen, Dorothy Beatty.
Thank you. The Most Hours Award for 2002. This person has been involved with public access since 1989. She produces a monthly show, Cleo, that highlights entertainers in Dayton and is co-producers of Citizen Impact, a program focusing on unemployment in Dayton. She not only volunteers for studio and field production, but her support on the remote festivals has been outstanding, even in the hot, when it's 100-something degrees out to the park. Sometimes she's there with us. DATV is pleased to present the Most Hours Award to Tiki Kai Crismano for her contribution of 380 hours in 2002. Tiki.
In 2002, Tiki Kai Crismano contributed over 370 hours of her time to run camera, do audio, and direct DATV's coverage of festivals and training shows. This doesn't even count the hours Tiki donates to other volunteers and independent producers, along with producing and editing her own shows. Congratulations, Tiki, for being the volunteer contributing the most hours to DATV in 2002.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say that I love DATV and all the fantastic producers, and I want to encourage them to keep up the good work because DATV does a good job of representing what people need to know about, and thank you very much.
Before we go on to other presentations, let me bring Dick Zimmer down to the podium if I could, please, the Dayton City Commissioner, who has arrived and would like to say some words and congratulate us on our 25th anniversary. And I believe he brings greetings from the city. Is that correct, Commissioner? Commissioner Dick Zimmer.
Thank you. I'm sorry for running late, but there's like 3 things going this evening. There's only one of me, so I split it between 2.
You were at the Dragons
I
game,
gave up
right?
I gave up the Dragons game. But the Optimist had a program going and DATV, and both of them are close to my heart, so I figured we'd do that. I can always catch a Dragons game, but it's very important. I remember when DATV got started over at the United Theological Seminary in the basement of the White House over there, and Jim Booker came along sometime and he pulled cables for the camera persons that were involved over there. Leila Estes was involved from way in the beginning of this thing, and Don Crawford and Roxy, of course, and I go back that many years. But it's been great, and DATV has really grown over the years. A lot of participation, a lot of volunteer. It's volunteers that make the organizations, make them go. And I'm glad to be a part of it this evening. I'm on the board again now, so back in the swing of things. And I bring greetings from the mayor of the city of Dayton, Ryan McClellan, officially congratulates Dayton Access Television on the occasion of its 25th anniversary, Friday, April 11th, 2003. And whereas she set her signature on the greetings to DATV. And would you like to accept the proclamation? That's big step, big step. Big step.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Commissioner. You know, I was trying to be cute there. I was saying that tonight was the, the night that the Dragons were opening up. I didn't mean, probably shouldn't have said that for Commissioner Zimmer, seeing as how he was involved in that little interesting thing earlier. All right, let's move right along. Our next presenter has been a part of DATV's family of volunteers and independent producers for nearly 10 years. He's produced many award-winning programs, including Hometown Showcase and Night Beat videos. So to present the awards for On Location Producer of the Year and the Student Volunteer of the Year is our own budding Hollywood movie mogul, Mr. Greg Tucker. Greg? Oh, there you are. Sorry, you're sneaking up on me.
Hello. First, I would like to say it's been a wonderful 10 plus years with the DATV. I've learned quite a bit, and I hope to learn more. The recipient of the producer of the location producer of the year arrived as a focused man with determination, producing such programs as the WCW, African Outlook, along with epic programs such as A Night of Middle Eastern Belly Dancing, the Martin Luther King March. He's consistently, I say consistently, marches out in commando style with his crew, Roger and Terry Chan, to do one more film production. That person's name is Patrick Hughes.
This year's On Location Producer of the Year makes every effort to set new production standards with each television program he produces. Examples of this can be seen in such shows like The Bamboo Bomber, where Patrick Hughes videotaped a World War II bomber while flying in a chase plane and doing on-the-street interviews on live television. Patrick strives to set new standards every time, thus earning him the title of On Location Producer of the Year.
2002 Producer of the Year. Alex Gammer, you're never going to get this. I'm always going to beat you. And I'd like to thank all the little people like Steve Ross, and especially Melissa Mills. She's always helped me get my programs on at those special dates and times. I just want to thank you. I really deserve this.
After 6 years, today, August the 5th, 1976, the first home will be connected with cable, and Access Dayton will be there to tape it.
You're watching Cable Channel 30, Access Dayton, serving the public on the Viacom cable system.
Hi, I'm glad you could join us. 30 has its third, simply means that we have just completed 3 years of community programming. Our board of directors will be joining us soon for the celebration, and while our staff is busy making last-minute preparations and getting all prettied up for the party, I'd like to show you the highlights of some of the things we've brought you since January 1980.
In the first show, The Cash Register in Dayton, we will cover the impact that the cash register has had on the history of Dayton. I'm Tom Getz, and welcome back to Discovering Dayton.
Susie Jones, milking in the barn, saw him fall.
On the corner of Rosedale and Riverview, there is a mural entitled All That Jazz that was painted by some local youths who painted larger-than-life portraits of some of the jazz greats such as Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and Count Basie, and we were there for that dedication. The most important event in April for us was our being accepted as the media pool, which allowed us to bring to you, for the first time in Dayton history, gavel-to-gavel coverage of a trial.
But Grandma, what's going to happen now? I told Mom I'd have the dishes done and the clothes all washed before she got home, and Jay's got to take a shower before she goes to piano.
Oh, now calm down. Everything will be all right. I will go in and call the city water department and see what they can do about it.
Well, then I put my head into the loop. Thus. Then what do you do? Why then, Mr. Punch, I must pull the rope. This rope here? Yes, Mr. Punch. All right, like this? Do I pull it like that? Why, no, Mr. Punch. Much harder than that. Oh, like this then? Oh, Mr. Punch, Mr. Punch!
This award, the Student Volunteer of the Year award, goes to Elizabeth Mills, a young lady who's worked on such programs as Teen Rap, various field productions, Mountain Days, someone who we look to as the new future of DATV.
Elizabeth Mills is a regular participant at DATV. She volunteers as a camera operator on Teen Rap and Mountain Days. She can also be seen assisting her aunt Melissa Mills, organizing and queuing tapes in Master Control. Let's give our thanks and congratulations to Elizabeth Mills, DATV Student Volunteer of the Year.
I've had a lot of fun being on DATV this year. Thank you.
As you can see, her last name is Mills, and Grandma giving her a nice big hug. Melissa giving her a nice big hug. It's nice also how families are drawn into this, real blood families, even though everyone in this room, of course, is family together in the projects that we work on. Now it's time to move along to the Distinguished Service and Rookie of the Year Awards. Tim Bruce is not only the weekend production assistant, but also a visual arts instructor at Sinclair Community College. In Tim's spare time, he's an instructor at Carroll High School, teaching the young people, the students, the art of video production. Now, this is the script that they've got for me, Tim. If Tim can squeeze us into his busy schedule, we'll ask him to present the Distinguished Service and the Rookie of the Year Awards. So let's give a big hand to our gift from London, England, the Queen's own contribution to DATV, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Bruce.
Thank you. One small correction, it's Colonel White High School, so I just wanted to point that out. I've been working for DATV for 6 years, and this is the first time they've asked me to come up and do a presentation, present somebody with an award, and I feel honored, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you. And I'm actually leaving DATV. I'm going to be, I think my last day will be not this coming Saturday, the following Saturday. So, and it's, for the most part, it's been a real blast, and I'm really sorry to leave. I've made so many friends here, and I should get on to the awards. The first award I'm going to present is the Distinguished Service Awards, and in England, the Queen awards a thing called, it's actually a medal. It's called the Distinguished Service Order. And it's to pillars of British society for public good works. And here at DATV, we present them to producers who have shown themselves to be all-round good guys, selflessly devoting their time and talents to other people's projects as well as producing their own shows. And so we'll do that right now. When you see your name on the screen, if you can, please come up and receive the award.
Well, I've probably been here longer than most because I remember the White House. And Jim Booker is responsible for leading me astray. And I want to tell Steve that this is probably, today was the first show that I've ever done that we didn't have something happen. Must have been because you weren't there.
This is a very pleasant surprise, and I'd like to thank everybody, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. This was a real surprise, and it's a real pleasure to work with everybody at DATV.
I'd like to thank everyone. I first of all would like to thank Jesus, my Lord and Savior. And I'll tell you, I'm so thankful for all that I've learned here. And just the opportunity to serve God through DATV, it's just been a blessing. And I also want to share with Roberta, I don't know that you would remember me, but you're an answer to my prayer, being able to come here and serve you and the American Lung Association to give back just a small portion of what you and the Lung Association have given my children. I want to thank you sincerely. Thank you, Lord.
All I can say is this, is that I'm honored to be here in this sea of talent. And I just want to thank everybody that saw fit for me to be a part of this. And this is the best. I'm going to keep doing this until we give out or keep going. Thank you.
The Rookie of the Year Award recognizes the contribution of someone new to the DATV family who has distinguished themselves with their enthusiasm and their energy. Our recipient produces both her own unique programs and volunteers on others' shows. Sherry Kurland deserves this award as Rookie of the Year. Sherry, can you come up, please?
In just a few short months, Sherry Kurland made a big impact. She joined DATV in November 2001, and by March 2002 was a certified director. Before videotaping her shows, she does site surveys and makes every attempt to have the best possible audio for her programs, then logs all her footage before editing. Congratulations, Sherry, for being our Rookie of the Year.
Thank you, everyone. This has become a family, away from my regular family, and my husband knows that it's my home away from home. Thanks to all the staff and all of you fellow volunteers. And again, my husband's been an amazing helpmate, doing everything from running cable to being an interviewer on some of the shows. So just thank you. Keep up the good work. We had a call from Greyhound Rescue Association that someone may be adopting a greyhound because of Pet Fest 2002. We make a difference, and let's keep doing it. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. This is going to be tough. For Melissa. She was so very close to Roxy, and as I mentioned before, has been my friend for so many years, ever since her first day, I believe, her involvement at what was then Access 30, And she told the story, which I was able to repeat in the newspaper, so I suppose she won't care if I tell it to you tonight. On her very first day on the job when she was 15 years old, and she went in to volunteer. Roxy was there, and they were the staff. And the phone rang, and she picked up and said, "Hello," and then she put the person on hold, and Roxy says, "It's a business phone, my dear, and it would be proper for you to answer it in a little nicer way." And so then she learned how to answer the phone, and it turned out that first call was Johnny Cash, yeah, of all people to be calling. So she was broken in a neat way. Roxy hired her in 1984 as that receptionist. In 1989, Melissa became the administrative assistant of DATV. She was the very first recipient of the Student Volunteer of the Year award, which is interesting. And today, as the program director, Melissa processes approximately 200 programs per month. That means that there's an awful lot of to do in getting out 2,400 programs per year. So let's give a big round of applause to the little baby that came into the program and now is a 35-year-old woman, our own Melissa Mills. Am I right? Are you 35?
34.
34, I'm sorry.
Right, Mom? I'm not 30 yet, right, Mom? And I want to welcome my mother here. And she's been a very big part of my life. Thank you, I love you. And I want to thank everybody that's been a part of my life from all these years. Roxy, Francine, John Rocco, Steve Ross, Dan, Dorothy, Rick, everybody, all the board, Leela, Aaron, everyone that's been around all these years. So thank you. You all are very important to my life, and you all had a part of my life throughout these years. So thanks everyone. So now, I'm here to introduce the Dayton Access Television Producer of the Year. In 1997, this year's Producer of the Year for DATV took his first field production workshop. He immediately started producing programs on the air and have done over 100 programs since 1997, highlighting the Lebanon Carriage Parade, Annie Oakley Parade, and documentary on Annie Oakley, Down to Earth, talking about gardening and all that, aerobics programming, and kids fishing programming. His style and creativity has inspired others throughout the year. Let's welcome this year's DATV Producer of the Year, Mr. Alex Gamber.
Innovative, creative, and most of all, focused. These are just a few of the words used to describe Alex Gamber. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, Alex polishes it. For your determination and fortitude, Alex, you are our DATV Producer of the Year.
Wow. Patrick Hughes. I've been after him for a long time. Last year I won the first award, I think, in entertainment, and he just piled it up right after that. God, man. Before I get into that, let me tell you a story about Dale Huffman. I was at St. Clair College doing an interview with Buffalo Bob, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise. He had asked all the questions. I kept waiting to get an answer, get a question in, and Dale kept saying, I got another question. Can I get a question here, Dale?
You can say anything you want.
All right. Well, working on, thank you, appreciate that. But I did manage to get a couple questions in, and it was neat to watch how Dale worked. DATV, a great experience. Every year, you never know what program you're going to do. It's sort of like potluck. Who am I going to run into? What am I going to do? And Haunted Ohio was a great program. I enjoyed that. I think Patrick Hughes and I are going to go out ghost hunting later on this year. That was it. Patrick, I was going to tell you that I couldn't beat you, so I ended up joining you with, you know, on the Bamboo Bomber and stuff. I figured on that program, when I interviewed all those people, and they said, well, we'll get you a chaser aircraft to go up there and fly and chase that bomber. I thought, well, Patrick's a pilot, and if it crashes, then, you know, I can get, don't have to worry about being up there and worried about any type of danger. So, but thanks, Pat, for your help on that. It was great. We worked hard on that together, and we had a really good time. We strive for excellence and strive for a great program, and the producers here do a wonderful job, and hopefully we keep it interesting for the viewers out there. So thank you very much for this award. Appreciate it, and thank you.
Next, we're going to introduce the Dayton Spiritual Television Producer of the Year. This year's Producer of the Year started in 2000. They were directing studio programs before the year was out. This person has taken on the responsibilities to be a lifesaver to many volunteers and new producers who have come in and needed assistance getting their programs started in the studio. We would like to recognize this year Mr. Joe Laurie as DSTV Producer of the Year.
Since December 2000, Joe Loy has worked to provide inspiration to the community through his television ministry, Way of the Cross, and co-producing Redeeming the Time with Letitia Dupree. Congratulations, Joe, for being the Dayton Spiritual Television Producer of the Year.
Congratulations, Joe. Well, I thank you very much. First thing, the award, as my certificate says, joy, which is what I hope to exude in everything that I try to do. And I have to thank several people. Letitia Dupree, who's one of the shows that I do in Redeeming the Time, as well as the show that I produce from our church, Way of the Cross. And I just thank God for putting me in the position.
Okay. Also, I'd like to recognize someone who has been nominated for a National Alliance for Community Media, which is the national organization that represents public access, government education access. I nominated Wanda Bear, our lovely producer, volunteer for 20 years. I nominated Wanda for the George Stoney Award for Humanistic Communications. This award is given by the Alliance for Community Media and will be given out in Tacoma, Washington at the National Conference in July this year. Official notice will be known at the end of this month. As a national board member, as myself on the Alliance for Community Media, I was told that she would be given the award with the board approval. And as I've been told, you will get it. But I also want to nominate you. I wanted to recognize you for all the work that you've done throughout the years, 20 years plus that you've been involved. So I wanted to let you know and that you have been nominated, and we will know more later as an official award, but I wanted to let you know. Okay. Thank you, Del.
Congratulations, another national award and recognition for the many folks that support DATV. Each year, of course, from time to time over the past 25 years, we've lost loyalists and hardworking people who have given blood, sweat, and tears literally to the organization. And we pause now because in 2002, DATV lost one of its closest friends indeed in Sam Amos. He was well known for producing his weekly spiritual program, The Encouraging Word. Our producer, Richard Latimer, has put together a special tribute to an old friend, so let's watch.
Every man tries to make a mark on the world and do something that leaves the world a little better than he left it. Sam Amos may not have been famous or wealthy, but he enjoyed great riches being an evangelist, a fisher of men.
I'm Sam Amos, volunteer producer of DATV TV 20.
Sam's concern for his fellow men and their souls was the most important thing in his life. He knew where to fish to reach the multitudes of men, women, and children for Christ. Sam was a good husband and Christian. He graduated from Colonel White High School in Dayton in 1962 and later married his wife, Ruth. He started his career as a Christian DJ at WQMS 96.5 in the early 70s in Hamilton, Ohio. In the early 80s, Sam worked at WFCJ doing a Southern gospel music show on Saturday nights. He was passionate about Christian radio. In 1996, he saw the possibilities of increasing his catch of souls by joining public access television and producing his program, The Encouraging Word. Sam's approach to preaching was to talk gently to his audience, looking straight into the camera. He worked on these shows with only a volunteer or two in the control room. This approach was appreciated by his peers with 2 Philo Finalist Awards, but his real prize was a sincere love for the Lord. As a follower of Christ, he preached the message of salvation to everyone who would listen, and he did it simply with no fanfare. He sometimes produced controversial programs which got him into hot water.
I want to make sure this airs on DATV Dayton 20 and regular access channels. I read and heard about an incident of a school bus involved in the crash with a dump truck, and there have been other school bus accidents.
Sam was not perfect, and his temper could get him into many engaging arguments with other producers, but he always tried to step into another's shoes to see the other's point of view. Sam also produced shows for the public access channel about his love of sports, where he showed bicycling races and showing the many bike paths that people could enjoy in the Miami Valley, and he did this all while holding down a heavy 40 to 60-hour job as a taxi cab driver in Dayton. He always tried to be on the cutting edge of video by learning the latest in production techniques and spending a lot of time improving his graphics for those shows. He sometimes appeared as a guest on other independent programs, such as Barbershop Perspectives.
They stole their hope. What we need to give people is not money or something like that, but give hope.
While a volunteer at DATV, he was recognized for his productions at DATV's Awards Banquet, as well as being nominated for the Volunteer of the Year Award by DATV's staff. Sam did not take himself too seriously, but he did take seriously his faith in Jesus Christ. Sam had a truly pure heart, and we will miss him till we join him with the Lord.
Tribute to Sam Amos. Don't you just imagine that Sam and Roxy are up there organizing things, and that one of these mornings early when we get up and turn on TV, we're going to have a transmission from heaven. That sure is shooting. John Rocco, if you'll make your way back to the board, back to the stage, the board will be introduced. As early as the age of 4, they tell me, John, you had a desire to work in television. At 23, the desire became reality when you were hired to be the executive director for a new access station in State College, Pennsylvania. 15 years later, you're now the executive director of Dayton Access Television. He was recently quoted in an article as to what he feels access is all about, and he stated, "Access allows everyone of every conceivable background to have a say, to be heard, to contribute to their community, and to know they are valuable." A man like that we need to welcome right now, Executive Director John Rocco. John, congratulations.
First, let me say next year we're getting a ramp. Before I moved to the new house my wife and I just built, I used to take a taxi to work. And quite often it was that I'd come out the door and Sam Amos was sitting behind the wheel of the taxi, and we'd talk about DATV all the way to work, and I'm certainly going to miss those days. Dale asked earlier who designed the set, and of course, as usual, that was Steve Ross, so I want to give him proper acknowledgement. And also to Dale Grove for producing tonight's program. And I'd also like to recognize my predecessor. You knew her as Francine Rakel, now Francine Wigan, who's here with us tonight, celebrating. As I say every year, there's a lot of ways to volunteer your time at DATV, and one of the most important is to serve on the Board of Trustees. And I'd like to introduce the board members who are here and have them come up and receive a little token of our appreciation. First is our board chair, Miss Roberta Taylor. Our vice chair is Aaron Schaefer. Our secretary is Maggie Barlow. Our treasurer is Robert Bradley. And our other board of trustees are Leela Estes, Tim Gardner, Robert Mullins, Mark Madry, Tom Ritchie, and Gabrielle Williamson. At this time, I'd like to introduce our board chair, Roberta Taylor, who has a special presentation.
Good evening. If my trusty assistant would join me. Sometimes we have a lot of unsung heroes, and someone already mentioned that I do work for the American Lung Association, and I needed a favor. So I called Dan. Dan, would you come forward, please? Dan helped me out. And at this time, I'd like to give a plaque to Dan for his work and his outstanding, he went over the board. And the plaque reads, "Special thanks to Dan for your outstanding contribution to Smoke-Free Dayton."
Wow, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go.
We now are at the part of the program where we want to give recognition to everybody who is a volunteer at DATV. And so, as it is every year, my pleasure to introduce the well-known volunteer roll.
There they are, the awesome list of names that makes up the backbone of DATV. You've heard the name Jim Booker bannered around a few times tonight, and we would be remiss if we didn't, even though he is busy working for his bread and butter station, Channel 2 tonight over at the Schuster Center. And he's a good friend of many people in this room, and he was there over the years, as many of us were, and so I think we should give a round of applause to crazy, zany, wonderful, hardworking friend Jim Booker. He said he'd try to pop over if he could, and to believe me, if he comes into the room, we'll know it. The Extended Service Awards now, if we could welcome back. We're winding down, but we still have some important announcements to make and awards to give. If Dorothy Beatty will come to the podium, we'll present the Extended Service Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, Dorothy Beatty.
Thank you. On behalf of the board and staff of DATV, I am honored with this opportunity to say thank you for your support, team spirit, vision, and drive, and for all your hard work and dedication to the concept of public access television. First of all, we're going to roll the 5-year users, and if you see your name, please come up and see Melissa. You guys want to say something? Now we will roll the 10-year users. If you're here, please come up. Maybe we're not going to roll them. I'm going to read them. Gia Cablero, Sia Price, Vincent Deck, Clarence Plump, Yvonne Plump, and David Watson. I don't think either here tonight. Our 15-year users are Herb Burton and Mark Young. And our 20-year user is Robert Watkins.
We'll try to be brief. We thank Sister Melissa, who was one of my students a few years ago. And I thank God for this opportunity, these 20 years. About 20 years ago, Reverend Fletcher Green, myself, and my brother-in-law started this venture. And we thank God for DATV and have the ability to share what God has done and is doing in our lives. And we thank you for being supportive for us.
And our 25-year user is Richard Zimmer.
this is a total surprise. She said, don't come up when the 5-year, because you don't belong in that group. I said, okay, whatever, I do what I'm told. But no, this really is a surprise, but a pleasant surprise. And there's a number of people I've known most of that 25 years that are here tonight. Herb Burton is one of them back there. He's been around longer than I have, but I really appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Commissioner. The next presenter is a legend in his own time. Our next presenter came to Dayton Access Television over a dozen years ago in 1989 to take over the reins of operations manager after spending several years working for WKEF-TV, where we understand he did everything from master control work to directing the 6 o'clock news. But there's a little known fact that many of you don't know about Steve. He is the only DATV staff member to have stepped into the ring and wrestled a 750-pound black bear named Ginger and lived to talk about it. The others, at least, are now off the payroll, and we don't talk much about them anymore. Oh, man. To present the new directors, always looking for new talent, especially good directors. And to present the new directors of 2002 is DATV's fearless leader and professional bear wrestler, Steve Ross. Steve, and probably will kill me.
You know, it never ceases to fail. I get all dutied up. I've got my Sunday going to meeting clothes on and my hair all slicked back, and wanted to back me up on this. 13 years in a row, I've had to make that trek out to the truck because something is wrong. Now I smell like gas fumes. My hair's a wreck, but anyway. Hey, in that, every year since I can remember, I've announced the certified directors. And it's always my pleasure because it's a tough position to get to. You don't see a lot of people coming up and shaking hands and thanking us for acknowledging them as directors because it is tough. Not every, hopefully everybody will strive to get to that position, but it's tough. It's tough work and it takes a lot of dedication. So I've got a soft place in my heart for these folks. And if we could, please give them a round of applause. The first person is Richard Shanks. Sherry Curlin. Michael Douglas. Teresa Dancy. William Ragland. Warren Gillespie and Elizabeth Phillips. Thank you very much. Thanks for your hard work.
I'd like to thank you again, and it's a pleasure working with everyone at DATV. The volunteers and the staff are wonderful, and I'd like to thank you, and God bless you all again.
Thank you again, and I hope DATV goes on for another 25 years.
I graduated from the broadcasting school up on the hill, and I've learned a lot more at DATV volunteering than I did at the broadcasting school. Thanks.
Thanks again to everyone.
Congratulations. Elizabeth Phillips. Elizabeth, come on down. You're one of the honorees here. Would you like to come down and pick up your award, ladies and gentlemen? Elizabeth.
Well,
totally shocked. I'm not sure what I did here. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to be a part of DATV and the family. Thank you.
All right, let's get nostalgic again for a few moments, if you will allow us. And remember Roxy again. Roxy L. Cole, the mother and the founder of DATV. She retired in the 1990s, and Access 30 Dayton moved into its new home on Leo Street and changed its name from Access 30 Dayton to Dayton Access Television. Began cablecasting on Channel 20. Then on August the 1st, 1998, Dayton Spiritual Television Channel 12 took to the airwaves as DATV celebrated its 20th anniversary. There have been some awesome, great programming in the meantime. Some really great programs were produced all through the 90s. Let's just give you a sampling.
This way.
We're too busy struggling to belong to a system that automatically excludes us. As a consequence, we're shortchanged in education, employment, wealth, and respectability.
It's been said that image is everything, and that's exactly the advice that was taken to heart by the Birth Control Federation of America in 1942, when a public relations expert told them that because of Hitler's efforts at population control, the term birth control was seen as unacceptable.
Across America, there's 60 million tons, they say, 60 million tons of this food that will rot and will never get picked for a variety of reasons. One, a lot of times it's got to be perfect corn for Americans to eat it.
Hello, Dayton, and welcome to the 97-98 season of A Better Life. I'm Francine Rakel, and this is a show that we hope can give you some ideas on how to improve the quality of your life by improving the health of your mind, body, and spirit, because it's my opinion that those three things work together, and when one's out of whack, they're all out of whack.
I remember when many of these freedoms that we take for granted now.
Exactly.
You know, usually we can go eat anywhere we want, and vote, and do all these things that
Be anything.
Yeah, they just weren't there.
Thank you. Hello, Dayton. It's good to be back in Ohio. Thank you for being here in such large numbers.
Das Städtchen Kopfstein, du kennst ja wohl, und rammt von Bergen, so friedlich und still.
Hi, my name is Chad Cooper, and I am tonight's host at Teen Rap. I would like to welcome you back to another exciting season of Teen Rap. Our topic for today's show is violence in schools.
Some awesome work. All right, we have three big awards left. You've seen this gentleman tonight, and you see him all the time when you're involved with DATV. Patrick Hughes is the newest member of the part-time production staff at DATV. He became a member in 1997, is known for spending most of his waking hours shooting or editing programs of his own or assisting the other producers with their projects. In fact, he spends so much time at DATV that we thought about taking the couch out of the green room and putting in a sofa so he could make it his second home. He's here to give out the awards for the Volunteer of the Year and Studio Producer of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our own Patrick Hughes.
Volunteer of the Year. This individual is known for his generosity in volunteering his time to work on nearly all of the DATV training program, and his willingness to work on any of the independent productions on Channel 12 and 20. The Volunteer of the Year is Joe Loy.
The DATV Volunteer of the Year can be found assisting fellow volunteers with editing and helping others to videotape their programs on a regular basis. His ability to offer assistance to other volunteers while still continuing to produce his own television programs has earned Joe Loy the DATV Volunteer of the Year.
Well, thank you guys. Again, looks like now I'm trying to catch up to Pat. Again, I want to thank everybody for their help, and it's just been a great 3 years so far, and I'm working on that third year, but we'll get it down. And again, I want to thank God for putting me in this position. It's been glorious. Thank you.
Before I go further, I'd like to announce, coming this summer, the sequel to Haunted Ohio. Alex Gambar and I will be producing the new Ghost Hunters. So be looking for that program coming. Okay, Studio Producer of the Year. Good lighting, which is necessary for any program. Creativity embedded in his production values. The ability to troubleshoot and to solve problems without panicking and running to the staff for help. To resolve problems has earned the next individual the coveted title of Studio Producer of the Year. That person is Reginald Stills.
Reginald Stills exemplifies what makes a good studio producer. His creativity is showcased in his monthly studio program, Our Shared Heritage. He has a keen eye for detail and keeps a cool head when technical problems arise. Congratulations, Reginald, for being the DATV Studio Producer of the Year.
Well, thank you. I'd like to thank the staff and management of DATV, and I'd especially like to thank Rick Latimer, who helped me set up my first set and taught me something about lighting, and also Greg and Tim, who are always there when I'm in the studio, and lastly, Sherry Curlin, who assists me on my program. So thank you.
Congratulations, well deserved. Well, before the final presentation of the evening, which is appropriately the Roxy L. Cole Award, the folks putting the program together, and I would imagine everyone in this room, including me, feels it's only proper that we allow the lady herself, the mother of DATV, the founder of us all, have the final word. Here's Roxy.
Hi, I'm Roxy Cole. I'm the Executive Director of Access Dayton, and I'm about to do my least popular thing, and that is talking to a lens. Why am I involved? Why do I keep doing this? The concept of public access was tremendously exciting to me. The very fact that a cable company with the approval of the city, would give the community a voice. That you did not have to be a community leader in order to have access to the media. That was and is tremendously exciting, because it seemed to me that what I was hearing was everybody had a First Amendment right except you and me. Cable companies have First Amendment right. Leaders have First Amendment rights. But you and I hadn't heard too much about. And so it began to take on a total new meaning. Also, in our town, both newspapers, morning and evening newspaper, is owned by the same person or the same company. That company also owns a radio station, and they also have interest in a local television station. Also on a national level, because they're saying 5 cable companies are going to end up having control of what comes into our homes. That concerns me a great deal. I heard one of the attorneys for a cable company make the statement that if the community needed information that they weren't getting through the newspaper or television, that the cable company would give it to them. Well, that doesn't do too much for me. I think that takes away a lot of my right and my freedom. Your right and your freedom. And I think you have a right to voice your opinion, and you need a place to be able to do that, and you shouldn't have to be John D. Rockefeller in order to do that. People have a right to voice their opinion. People have a right to have access to this medium, and I want to make sure that that happens. I want to make sure that our voice is heard, or that at least we have the opportunity to voice our opinion. And I think public access is going to take on more importance. I don't know so much that I believe, or that I'm so committed in our tapes going to the West Coast or north or south or any place like that. I think the information from the east side of our town to the west side of our town to north of our town and south of our town, I think that's important. I think our community can use public access to become more informed. I think they can learn that we all share some of the same concerns, and we can all learn what each other's problems are. And we can also learn what each other's solutions are. And that's what I think public access is all about. It should be to help communicate and to make our community smaller and closer and solve problems. So that's it.
Twenty 25 years after Roxy started it all, our voices are still heard. Now to present the Roxy Cole Award, here's Steve.
Folks, that was a call for community activism right there. This is a great place. This is a great place to work. I've had a great time in 13 years, getting to know a bunch of people and seeing the programming, seeing how important the programming is to the community. The following person has been a volunteer and producer at DATV since 1996. Since that time, he's promoted public access television and DATV. He's brought a lot of people through DATV for training. Also, he's a regular fixture during daytime and evening productions, helping out not only DATV on their productions, but others with their programs as well. And I must say, it's interesting to see a gentleman from his generation willing to help other producers with such diverse viewpoints and lifestyles. Working with the organization, this person has been both quick to praise DATV as well as quick to butt heads with us, especially me, when he felt the need to. I guess you can say he's taken an active role in our organization and considers it his own. This person has led an interesting life with a great many stories. I enjoy talking with him about the jobs he's held throughout his life and the struggles he's endured during that time. I also enjoy his willingness to seek out new technology, embrace them instead of shying away. This is quite a rare trait for someone of his age. So right away, this gives us something in common. We both share information we've gathered by either attending events or reading various trade publications and have learned from each other. Finally, my most interesting experience with this person is looking back at our relationship since he became a member, some of which was quite confrontational, which is in sharp contrast to our current friendship. I learned a great deal about this person, and frankly about myself from this conflict, and as a result, enjoy tremendous growth from it. As a result, I now consider him a friend, so it is with great honor and privilege that DATV presents its highest honor, the Roxy Cole Award of Excellence, to Edward V. Willett.
This award is given out to the person who best exemplifies the First Amendment and supports public access television. This year's recipient, Ed Willett, puts a critical eye and a lot of elbow grease into every production. Never allowing the years to catch up with him, Ed gives a helping hand and a patient ear, all it be amplified to those around him. Ed is an inspiration to all of us who have the privilege of working with him.
Very much. Thank you for being here. Thank the volunteers and the staff. That's all I can say at this time. Thank you.
Kind of emotional, as I predicted earlier. We've had laughs, we've had tears, we've had some good times. Most of all, it's been a family night as we all celebrated together the silver anniversary and the wonderful history and the legacy of 25 years of public television has culminated in this wonderful organization, DATV. Stick around, we're going to have some prizes to hand out, and I know you want to visit with your friends, but right now as we close out the program, let me say to you folks that are watching on television, if you would like to become a part of this important part of our community, if you'd like to become a volunteer, if you'd like to produce your own program, if you would like to have your voice heard, if you'd like to have your neighbors know what's on your mind, if you'd like to know what's on your neighbor's mind, you watch the channels. From the bottom of our heart, we thank you, we congratulate you, and one final time as we close out, let's have a standing ovation for DATV's 25th birthday. Thank you and God bless.